I was just going through a WhatsApp forward message that I received, which was talking about expired medicine and usage of them beyond the expiration date. And it was surprising to also see an evidence that it was quoting. So, after going through the evidence, I want to state the facts to all of you. So, the journey of a medicine from laboratory to pharmacy shelf is a long process and it is tightly controlled. Let me break it down for you in a simplified manner. First phase is discovery and development. Scientists identify potential drug candidates and run experiments to assess how they work, their safety, and their potential benefits. The second phase is preclinical research. Before human use, drugs are tested extensively in labs and on animals to determine their safety and biological effects. Third is clinical research. Human trials are conducted in stages, phase 1 to 4, to establish safety, efficacy, dosing, and side effect profiles. Then comes the regulatory review and approval. All gathered data is submitted to regulatory authorities like FDA in the US and CDSCO in India for rigorous expert review and approval before the drug is allowed on the market. Next is the post market surveillance. Even after approval, medicines continue to be tracked for long term to understand the safety and rare side effects. What does an actual expiration date mean? The expiry date on a medicine's package is a guarantee by the manufacturer that medicine will maintain its full effectiveness and safety until that date provided, if it is stored correctly. Now, the expiry date is determined by stability testing, regulatory guidelines, etc. etc. It does not mean a medication instantly becomes unsafe or useless after that date, but rather its effectiveness may gradually decline. While that is a fact from the article, there is more to it. What does proper storage conditions mean? Medicines are sensitive to the environment. Most need to be stored away from the heat, moisture, and light. Some also might require refrigeration. Incorrect storage, like keeping drugs in a hot car or a humid bathroom, can break down the active ingredients more quickly, making some medicines unsafe or ineffective even before the expiration date. Yes, it is possible. Similarly, good storage can sometimes preserve efficacy past expiration date, but this does not guarantee for all drugs or home conditions. What actually happens beyond the expiry date and what happens if we use them? Usage of a medicine beyond expiry date has potential risks and it is not recommended. While some older studies and military research, such as FDA Shelf Life Extension Program or SLEP, as quoted by the article, show that many drugs retain potency well beyond their expiry date, notable exceptions are there. Life saving and narrow therapeutic window drugs is a category. They may lose potency much quicker and require strict adherence to expiry date. I think the article also quotes this. There are a category called liquid antibiotics which can break down or facilitate bacterial growth, which is very potentially harmful. Degraded products might sometimes produce toxic byproducts or simply fail to deliver the required therapeutic effect. Now, these byproducts sometimes might not be even be studied in a right way. So that is the risk that we are carrying when we are using the medicines beyond the expiry date. Let me now quote a few real cases that have occurred in the past after usage of expired medicine. This is a case from late 1990s in USA. Some of you might have heard the name tetracycline, which is an older antibiotic. This was used past the expiry date, and this patient ended up in renal tubular damage, which is a rare case called as Fanconi-like syndrome. Some case reports show anaphylaxis treatment failures due to reduced adrenaline potency, which is after using expired EpiPens. Outdated insulin can lose potency, causing poor blood sugar control and diabetic emergencies. These are all real case scenarios that have happened in the past by using expired medicine. Let me explain what SLEP means, which is quoted by the article Shelf Life Extension Program. So this was a collaboration between US Department of Defense and FDA. Facing massive costs in replacing unused stockpiled medicines, SLEP tested more than 100 drugs and found that nearly 90% remained safe and effective well past their printed expiry dates. This sometimes was also up to 15 years or later. However, these results were under ideal storage conditions using unopened and professionally monitored stock, not home medicine cabinets. There are also facts from this viral article. Let me explain them to you. Yes, printing of expiry dates on medicines actually became mandatory in the US from 1979. The second, most solid and some liquid drugs retain a very high proportion of potency beyond their expiry, sometimes for many years. And yes, certain medicines like insulin, nitroglycerin, and some antibiotics are exceptions and can lose efficacy rapidly. It is also a fact that pharmaceutical industry and regulatory bodies use expired dates mainly as a guarantee of safety and efficacy up to that point, not as absolute warning. Having said that, there is also regulatory and scientific reality way beyond the article. Let me explain that to you. Regulatory bodies like FDA, CDSCO, EMA, they all build policies with years of scientific evidence. Not just that, there are multidisciplinary expert committees and public health safeguards. Expiry dates and storage guidelines are just not arbitrary. They are designed, and for what? To minimize patient risk, to ensure reliable quality of care, and to address the unpredictable and varying storage conditions in homes and supply chains. So think about it. What actually becomes viral on social media? Shall I tell you? Oversimplification of facts. Because that's how we get connected to it very easily. We feel related and we feel like cheated as if we understand everything. But trust me, if you're not in the field, you might not really understand the deeper facts of it until unless you drill it down the way I have done it. So, probably social media and WhatsApp forwards might not be the reliable educatory tools for you. What do you think? Regulations reflect the expertise of many diverse professionals, chemists, pharmacologists, in this scenario, clinicians, and policymakers. Don't let WhatsApp forwards or viral articles like this overshadow the actual importance of the scientific process and established medical policies. Be an informed and responsible consumer of health information. If you found this valuable or you're interested in more evidence based insights for your health, please follow along. Thank you.